Hi, this is Natalie with Imago Day Yoga, here to bring you some more back bend practice. This is the fourth video for the month of April. I am working myself back into a wheel pose. You don't have to do that with me, but if you've been following along, trying to hit that wheel pose, today is hopefully the day. But we're going to go through more of safety, like going through the safe process of getting more flexibility in our back and our lower lumbar, strengthening the core, holding the poses, and then hopefully nailing either our best wheel or just a really nice bridge pose. You can choose. All right, so let's get started. Make my way back to the mat, and as I do that, please give me a like and subscribe if you end up liking this video. I'd appreciate that. That helps me out a ton. So, all right, we're going to start off in child's pose, big toes together, knees wide. Sink the body down between the knees. And take some deep breaths down the spine. Target the lower back with your breath. Big inhale. Exhale. 2 more deep breaths down the spine. Release. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And next inhale, hinge forward into your plank pose, and we're going to hold it for a few seconds. Check in on the stance. Make sure the middle fingers are pointed to the top of the mat and that your hips aren't sinking too low or popping up too high. Try to keep it level. Couple more breaths. Keep holding. Then chaturanga, lower it down. Push it into an upward facing dog gently. Maybe it's a very small upward facing dog. You can bend the elbows a little bit and then push the hips up and back into a down dog. And we'll take a few breaths. I find down dog helps my lower back a lot if it's in pain. Keep taking those deep breaths, feeling the lift up and back, chest pulling toward your thighs. 2 more deep breaths. Let it go. One more time, deep inhale. And exhale. Then you'll inhale again. And then as you exhale, this time hop or step to the front of the mat for a forward fold. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. And then inhale, reach it up. Nice big stretch, palms together down to heart center. We'll just take one big grounding breath in mountain. Then inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold, and we'll pause in that fold. Make sure the knees are bent a little bit, stomach connected to the thighs. This is about the back, so you're not necessarily targeting the hamstrings except maybe a little bit. You're making sure the back is supported by that thigh and stomach connection. Neck is loose, looking back toward the knees. Take a breath. Then inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. Then inhale, reach it up. Get a nice stretch. Palms together down to heart center. One more grounding breath. Let it go. And then inhale, arms up. Exhale, plant the hands, hop or step it back to your plank. We'll pause in plank for just a moment. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Work on the back a little more. You can bend the knees, flexing the feet. Keep the hands near the rib cage. And then you're going to lift the chest, taking the hands up off the ground. And then try to lift the feet, activating that lower back and the glutes. Trying to stomp the ceiling with your feet. Keep breathing. And then take the arms back behind you, extend the legs, lift up a little taller, keep breathing. And then exhale, let it down. Relaxing things for a second, take a breath. And then start to bend the knees again. And then grab the inside edges of the feet. Finding floor bow, you'll inhale your body up. Trying to kick the legs up. Looking up. Big breath, keep breathing. I should say shallow breath. Intentional shallow breaths, keep breathing. And then you'll release the feet, lower the body down. And then push it up and back into a child's pose. Big toes together, knees wide. We'll take a few more breaths this time. Again, still targeting that lower back. Nice deep inhales. You should be feeling the lower back and stomach expanding. Keep breathing. One more big breath. Release. The next inhale, come forward into that plank pose. And then lift the hips up and back again for that downward facing dog. Take some deep breaths, big inhales. And exhales. Again, nice deep breath. Release. And you can start to bend the knees. Look forward, hop or step to the front of the mat for a forward fold. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Inhale, reach it up. Nice big stretch, palms together down to heart center. Stabilizing ground and mountain, big inhale. And release. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands. Hop or step it back to your plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale for that upward facing dog. We're gonna pause in the upward facing dog this time. Hips reaching down for the mat. Chest lifting up, look up, keep breathing. And push it back into that child's pose, downward facing dog. Hips going up and back. Breathe. Two more big breaths in our down dog. And then go ahead and just bend the knees down toward the mat. Coming all the way down onto the knees. And then you're going to slowly start to come up to the tops of your knees. Take your time, don't get dizzy. Big inhale as you come up. And then we're going to try camel. So for camel, start out by bracing the lower back for protection. And you're going to push forward. You want to stay active in the front of the body. So lots of activation in the hips, the chest, the stomach. As you push forward, lift the chest, look back, try to find the wall behind you. If you see it, you might try to reach for your heels if that feels okay. Be cognizant of your back. Respect your back. Keep breathing. One more breath. And then slowly start to come back up. Bracing the lower back as you do. And then you're going to come forward into rabbit. So bring the crown of the head down to the ground. Make sure it's the top of the head. And then you're going to reach back for your heels and lift up with the hips. Keep breathing. Undoing that back bend. And slowly start to sink back down into a child's pose. Taking a few more breaths. Two more deep breaths down the spine. And then next inhale, start to hinge forward into your plank pose. And push-ups up and back for your downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths, big inhale. Exhale, let it go. One more time, deep breath. And release. Then start to inhale, and as you exhale, bend the knees. Look forward, hop or step to the front of the mat for your forward fold. Inhale it up halfway. Exhale it back down. And inhale, reach it up. Nice stretch, palms together and down to heart center. Ground down into your mountain pose, big breath. Release it out. Then we're going to start to come down to the mat. So maybe take another big inhale up, pushing the hips forward, lifting the chest, getting that back bend. And then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center and sink down to toe stand. And start to bend the knees, sink the hips down toward the heels. Try to sit on the heels if you don't quite make it. That just means you're getting a little more core activation. That's okay. And then slowly start to have a seat on the mat. We'll go ahead and open up the hips a little bit by coming into butterfly. You might take a big inhale and lower yourself down. Keep breathing. And inhale yourself up. Bring the knees together. I'm going to come into a brief boat. So find where the boat feels okay. Pay attention to your back. If you need to keep either your feet or your hands planted, you can do that. So find where the boat feels okay. Just take a couple breaths, breathe. And we're going to slowly lower down. So come through low boat. And gradually lower all the way down to the mat. Adjusting onto the mat if you need to. And start to bend the knees up into the chest. Hugging them in tight. We'll be here for just a second. Massage that spine, rocking the hip side to side, if that feels okay. Breathing still as you do. And then take those feet straight up in the air for a waterfall. Pause there for a second, take a breath. And then bend the knees in, grabbing the outside edges of the feet. Opening up the hips again. And breathe. Trying to target that spine. Rocking side to side if it feels okay. Trying to help it relax before we attempt a wheel. Hug the knees in one more time. And then we're going to plant the feet down onto the mat. We're going to start off first with a bridge. So make sure the heels are nice and close to the body. You can touch the heels with the tips of your fingers. And once you've got that, you're going to lift the hips up, squeeze those shoulder blades together, get a nice stretch. You can even grab the hands underneath and pull the shoulder blades together a little bit more. Really push those hips up. Feel the length in the front of the body. Breathe. And then lower it down. Bend the knees back up into chest. Give it a break. Relax for a second. If you want to attempt a wheel, you can, or you can just do another bridge. Choice is yours. If you're wanting to do a wheel, still same thing. You want to keep the feet close to the body. And then you're going to take your hands and make sure the fingers are facing your shoulders right next to your head. And then once you've got that set, you're going to lift the hips up, pull up, push up. Oh, yes. And we're going to hold it for a few breaths. If that's okay, if at any point you need to go ahead and lower down, do that. Just keep breathing. Couple more breaths. Pulling up, pushing up to the best you can do. And then wherever you're at, start to lower down. Carefully bringing the body back down. And bringing those knees back up into chest. Wherever it feels good, you might want to move the knees around a little bit. Again, massaging that spine. Give it a second. Let it relax. Then we're going to do a twist. You want to take your arms out to a T. Drop the knees over to one side. Carefully. Make sure it feels okay. And then look over the opposite shoulder. Still breathing. Breathing into the twist. One more big breath. On the next inhale, bring the knees back to center. Let the spine settle again. Take a second. Then we're going to move the knees to the other side, getting a twist the opposite direction. There we go. Finding where the twist feels good on this side and breathe. One more big inhale and exhale. And bring those knees back to center. Let the spine settle into the mat. Take the feet straight up into the air, flexing those feet. Then we're going to lower the legs down. If this does not feel good on the back, staying active through the legs, you can bend the knees back into chest and let them out one at a time. But otherwise, stay active, getting the last core activation. Slowly lowering the legs all the way down. And then once you get there, you'll start to relax everything. Take a deep breath all the way down to your stomach and lower back, feeling the back expand as well as the stomach. And then forcing all the air out. Take another deep breath like that. Push it out. 2 more deep breaths. Target that spine. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath. Let it go. And then start to bend those knees back up into chest. This time rolling over to one side and then pushing up into a seat. And once you get there, you can shut down the eyes. We'll take a couple more breaths. Take a big inhale and exhale. One more time, big breath. Exhale. And then next inhale, bring arms up, touch palms overhead, and then bring it down to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this journey with me. I'm very excited to actually have nailed my wheel pose. So thank you for joining me. Namaste.